going to go 3 wide.
And Andretti Carr moving up here at Mid-Ohio.
Turn number 4, side by side through the corner.
Regis VK and Robert McGinnis, a dead heat at the exit of turn number 2. Side by side, and Oliver Askew scores.
Right now, blue skies. This is pretty solid weather considering the fact that they've been thinking about rain coming.
Yeah, and unlike the USF 2000 season championship that we just saw, we've got 6 different winners in this race. So it could be just about anybody's ball game. They're already lining up 2 by 2, Rob. We're about to get the start.
And a couple of guys that haven't won yet that have won in Road to Indy, either at USF 2000 or Indy Pro, Parker Thompson and Hunter McElroy would love to make it 7 different winners this year. But as I said, it will be Daniel Frost and Parker Thompson bringing them out of the carousel through turn number 14 as we're about to go racing for the drivers here in Indy Pro 2000. First end of the doubleheader. Green, green, green. And they will stand on the loud pedal, work their way down to turn number 1. 1 and 2 so crucial to get through cleanly. Drivers doing a good job through 1 and 2 coming up. Here's that long run up to the infamous keyhole. One driver going off and spinning, coming through turn 1. You can see him far back there going around. I'll try to pick that driver up as they come back around here, but it looks to me like a good start here for Parker Thompson. Indeed, the Canadian's gone to P1. Daniel Frost slotting into second spot. Trying to figure who that was that potentially went around further back. Here's that first run down into turn number 4. A couple of aggressive moves to the inside. I want to say that Stingray Rob likely back into the 4th spot. Yeah, Manuel Suleiman slotting up into 3rd. I think it's actually Hunter McElroy to 4th, Stingray Rob to 5th. 6th would then be DeFrancesco. 7th looks like Artem Petrov. And 8th, Corey Enders. So the drivers, John, settling into the opening lap here. A long race, 45-minute race. That's at least the time window for these drivers here. They'll go 25 laps if all goes well.
Exactly right. As come across the line to complete race lap number 1, Parker Thompson at the point. Only 2 podiums so far this year. Still looking for his first win in Indy Pro 2000 this season.
Indeed, and we've seen Parker win throughout his career on the road to Indy, both in USF 2000. He won with Cape Motorsports, and the next year with Exclusive Autosport. Came back for his first year of Indy Pro 2000, graduating to Indy Pro with Exclusive Autosport, was able to win the first year with the PM18. Came back the next year with Able Motorsports, working on their team. Won the first 2 races at St. Petersburg. Always trying to see if he can't win that scholarship or potentially get an opportunity to move into the Indy Lights Series. We'd love to see Parker get that opportunity to get to the top level of the road to Indy. Driver further back here is Charles Fennell, and I think the driver that went around in turn 1 was Bob Kaminsky.
And are Bob and Colin related?
They are father and son.
I figured as much.
Indeed. A lot of laps put down by Bob Kaminsky at Road America and races around the country. He's a longtime SCCA racer. We've seen him run sporadically in the pro categories, and it's always a pleasure to have Bob with us here. His son Colin, of course, coming into the sport a number of years ago. Talking to Colin, his first ever car race was in a Spec Racer Ford event, which you can imagine how big it was. There was 60-something cars at Road America. Fell in love with it. Actually, a college varsity goalie, an athlete in their hockey team. So this guy's got athletic ability. He's got a lot of skill. Just didn't kind of get that early start that so many young drivers did in karting, right? Jumping right into cars as a young adult. So he's been doing a great job as well. Knocked on the door of a race win last year in USF 2000. And has had some good runs here as well.
DeFrancesco and Petrov nose to tail in that battle for 6th and 7th as they come across the stripe to complete lap 2.
Parker Thompson out front here now. Oh, there's that battle further back. You'd mentioned it, John. Look at Petrov trying on the outside of DeFrancesco. Off camber, downhill turn number 2, one of my favorite corners in all of motorsports, and able to keep it just inside the rumbles on the exit. And it's such a crucial corner. Not only is it difficult with the kind of uphill entry, then it drops off camber, downhill. You're supposed to be putting power on because it leads into the longest straight at the racetrack.
Exactly, but there's such a temptation to get on the power too early, and that takes you right off to the outside of that exit and ruins your exit speed, which is what you're trying to maximize. So patience is the watchword in that turn for sure.
It's why that corner is so iconic in American motorsports. It's just so tough to get right. And even if someone gets it right, someone could get it even a little bit better. That's why we've seen passes around the outside or whatever it may be. It's just such a tremendous corner. Parker Thompson knows coming into this particular weekend that he's got to win some races. He's 86 points behind Stingray Robb. Stingray, the young driver from Payette, Idaho, coming off those 3 straight wins at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the road course. So he's got confidence. He's got momentum. He's also got a nice 16-point lead over DeFrancesco. And as I said, 86 points over Thompson. Any driver will tell you, though, I'm thinking championship, but if I just win races, that'll take matters into its own hands. Parker needs to win some races. And out front right now from Daniel Frost, you're never sure what's going on with tires. Did somebody use too many tires in qualifying? We'll see what happens here when we get to race number 2 tomorrow. But right now, Parker Thompson, the Canadian, leading by 0.8 of a second.
And I gotta say, I'm impressed with Devlin DeFrancesco. I mean, the only rookie in the top 4 in the points. He's already a winner this year, and he's got 4 other podiums. He's looking really stout.
Devlin's a driver that I've been watching for a long time. Grew up in Canada. I watched him in karting in Canada. Raced a lot in Florida. Eventually, his family moved to Florida. Did a lot of national level racing, and then moved to Italy and went to national level karting. And then when he was there, then jumped into Euro Formula Open and a couple of different ladder programs in Europe. His plan was to try to move his way up into F2 and eventually into F1. Things kind of changed at one point. Decides he wants to redirect and get back here to the road to Indy. Hooked up with the Andretti Autosport team. This team again. We wouldn't see Devlin DeFrancesco. We wouldn't see Andretti Steinbrenner Autosport here in Indy Pro 2000 if it wasn't for the fact that Indy Lights was put on hiatus this year. When that happened, staff said they got staff, they got drivers. Let's go. Daniel Frost, as you know, is running in the FR America Series as well. So different opportunities for drivers to move to continue to race. We'll see the champion of the FR America Series in Indy Lights next year, a scholarship from Honda there to move him or her into that category. But Devlin got the opportunity hooking up with Andretti Autosport. They said, hey, listen, come over here and run Indy Pro. Let's get a program going. Decorated Indy Lights engineer Doug Zister on the program, on the engineering box there as well. So it's a great team around Devlin DeFrancesco. Everywhere he goes, he's learning. He'd never been on an oval before until Lucas Oil Raceway, and did well there. Now he's in the middle of an aggressive fight, though, with Artem Petrov and Moises De Oliveira.
And Stingray Robb is beginning to turn up the wick. He's right on the back wing of Hunter McElroy, and that's the battle for 4th position. Stingray, as you mentioned, the points leader, coming off a sweep at Indianapolis.
That was a straight-up deal where you roll that car off the trailer. Rasmuth Lind had won both races the year before with Juncos Racing at the Indy GP, which normally takes place in the first half of May to start off that whole month of May for Indianapolis. So Juncos Racing knew that they were going to roll off the trailer with a pretty good car. Stingray coming off a victory here at Mid-Ohio a couple of weeks before that. Did decently in both of the oval races at Lucas Oil Raceway and Worldwide Technology Raceway. Then the minute he got on the racetrack, it was a Thursday-Friday event. We jammed everything in. Well, we looked like we have a driver potentially off the racetrack. Is that in Thunder Valley? Indeed,
Turn
John?
11, yeah, it's at turn 11, coming up out of Thunder Valley. There's the walkover bridge, so just off.
Driver off the side of that racetrack.
It's the 17 car of DeFrancesco, just as we were bragging on.
I was wondering, looks that livery pretty easy to pick up, and we're full course yellow. So that 0.8 of a second lead for Parker Thompson
safety car
shrinks down to 0. Full course yellow, safety car taken to the racetrack, and indeed, that was DeFrancesco, the number 17. Here we are, Tottenham, and an issue in turn 11.
And it looks like it just rolled to a stop. I think it must be a mechanical rather than the result of contact from where he is.
We'll pick that up momentarily here on the cameras as the driver's coming through turns number 8 and over to turn 9, which leads into Thunder Valley. They'll cruise by the stricken machine of DeFrancesco. Again, not a good look for both John and I, whether or not to see if there was contact. Remember, he was in the middle of a pretty heated battle with Petrov. And
yep.
Are you seeing some right front damage on the car?
Yeah, perhaps he had Petrov going for that section of track, trying to get set up for turn 11 with it caught out.
I'm not seeing any rubber marks. I don't see any spin marks, whatever it may be, but it looks like we may have some damage in the right front. So press the reset button. We're just getting things underway. 25 lapper, as I had said. 19 laps still to go, but a good start there for Parker Thompson from the off pole, able to get the lead from Daniel Frost. So it's Thompson, Frost, Manuel Suleiman, driver from Mexico for D-Force Racing in the number 8. Hunter McElroy in the number 18, the Australian, New Zealand American. Everything's all over the board in terms of hometown, birthplace for Hunter. Tremendous young man. We love having him in the paddock. Stingray Robb, point leader, P5. Artem Petrov, 6. Colin Kaminsky will move up to 7th. So I'm just going to throw this out there. Kaminsky goes to 7th. De Oliveira was in the middle of the fight, too. He drops a spot. Maybe De Oliveira getting together with Di Francesco.
Yep.
Just trying to see drivers that have dropped. De Oliveira back to 8th position. Jacob Abel now 9th. Antoine Comeau 10th. Corey Enders 11th. Charles Finelli. And Bob Kaminsky getting a chance to get back to the tail of the field as well after the spin he had over in turn number 1. So otherwise, pressing the reset button here. We'll take the opportunity to say hello to everyone here on the Road to Indy TV app or on IndyPro2000.com, whatever your choice of following our live stream here today. Not with us here at Mid-Ohio among the 6,000, as you can see, are starting to dot the hill on the inside of turn number 4 and 5. Normally at an IndyCar weekend, that is jam-packed. But look, you know what, John? I'm proud of these guys. We got social distancing out there.
Absolutely. The Mid-Ohio crew did a nice job of blocking off little pods where family groups can get together and maintain the social distancing. And tip of the hat to our fans for coming out here and adhering to these special dispensations that we've been granted by the governor's office and the Department of Health to have this crowd here. And we're hoping that if we do a great job this weekend, that we'll have a crowd back in 2 weeks' time when IMSA comes back to visit.
Yeah, and indeed that's the case, folks. We're obviously trying to make sure. I know that it's tough. I know that people are uncomfortable, whatever it may be. But this is all about taking care of motorsports, making sure that our racing can continue with fans, not without fans. We want to make sure if we do the right things, it will continue. We'll start to steamroll it. We'll be the model of perfection, so that health organizations can say, yeah, if you do it like this, we're going to allow you to have 6,000 fans, whatever it may be.
Exactly right.
So Thompson with the lead, as we said from the start. This will give him an opportunity to knock some laps off what will be a 25-lap contest. Parker will come around. They'll put lap number 7 in the books. And the thing about Parker Thompson is you're talking about a veteran driver with a number of years, essentially 5 years already in the road to Indy. Did 3 years in USF 2000 and then moved to Indy Pro for a couple of seasons, his 3rd season here at Indy Pro. And what I like about Parker, especially last year, not so much this year with all the COVID shutdown, Parker had a chance last year, kind of started the season, he wasn't going to have an opportunity to race at all. Well, then was able to hook up with Jacob Abel and their family team, a 2-car effort, came out of the box, as I said, at St. Petersburg, a couple of race wins. Then he picked up a couple of sports car programs in Canada as well. Running in the Canadian Sports Car Series, the Porsche GT Challenge, ends up, I think, winning both of those championships, and then a couple. He ended up with nothing, and then by the end of the season, had a couple of championships and a lot of seat time, and he maybe even more so earned a lot of respect among the sports car community as well.
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out to all of our competitors and teams, and yourself, Rob, that are down from north of the border. You know, there's very restrictive border crossing requirements for folks from Canada coming into this country. It's affected just about every race series that I've been affiliated with, and it's great to see these drivers making a commitment to get down here and, in most cases, stay south of the border in order to accomplish their career rather than going home between races.
I just talked to James Hinchcliffe, who of course was on pit lane for NBC Sports, and we were getting suited up for the session there with our radio and our broadcast equipment. I told him I was going home on Monday, and I'm home for 2 weeks. I got a quarantine.
Right.
I work from home, which is fine, but I'll be by myself. I'm not going anywhere. People are dropping food off for me. He did the same thing. Went home, couldn't go anywhere for 2 weeks, and then coming back down to do what he needs to do. So, indeed, I think we're lucky, those of us who are able to get down, and hopefully sooner or later those borders are open back up. We'll get the cross-border tourism going again. Race fans, rabid race fans that want to get back down. Because remember, I'm literally 4.5 hours, 5 hours from this racetrack. It's a lot of Canadians.
It's almost your home track.
They wanted to be down. Well, how many times? Well, I've been here a lot of times for the last 20 years.
I can't count. Yeah.
You can't count.
We are getting ready to go get the restart here, Rob.
And let's get back at it. Parker Thompson going to try to get that good jump coming out of the carousel. And it looks pretty solid. Yeah, at least 4 or 5 car lengths. Not surprising from a veteran driver. Stack them up. You know when to pinch off. You know just when they've still got the wheel coming through the carousel.
Yep.
You've straightened it out. You're gone. And that split second is going to, even if they have the wheel still in it, it's going to give him enough gap. Good start here, though, for Daniel Frost, staying pretty close. We can see the battle further back. Both Juncos drivers going at it. Stingray Robb and Artem Petrov trying to find a way by Hunter McElroy. We'll see what kind of run. This will really be the biggest opportunity for Frost right now. Coming down into turn 4, he'll have the draft all the way down the long straightaway into turn 4. We'll see if he's close enough to make a move. Parker's going to go to the inside to defend on that one. They'll both drive hard into turn 4. Parker just going to try to hold off in this initial start, then see if he can't pull away a little bit. He'll be hoping his teammate, Manuel Suleiman, can start putting some pressure on Daniel Frost as well to ease that gap up.
Hunter McElroy also driving a bit defensively because he's got the points leader right behind him. Stingray looking for an opening there at turn 4, not quite close enough to pull the trigger, but he is all over him.
Well, and the thing is, this championship is so tight. Really, if you come, you want to win races, but if you're at least finishing in front of the point leader, you've made a gain, and that's the net gain you think about in these races. As long as the point leader's behind you, it's a win for you. You want to win races, you want to be on the podium. But if you got that guy you're chasing in the behind, you've made at least one step forward. And a half a second gap now for Parker Thompson. So a strong opening lap after the restart for the Canadian from Red Deer, Alberta, Canada. As I said, race wins, I want to say the last 4 years he's had race wins. Rookie with JDC Motorsports, his first year in the program, and I want to say that was 2015. 2016 race wins with Cape Motorsports, 17 with exclusive in USF 2000, 18 with exclusive in Indy Pro 2000, wins in 2019 with Able Motorsports. So 4 straight years this guy has won races in these 2 categories.
And different teams. He's with D-Force this year.
Three different teams with race wins. Actually, 3 different teams with race wins, looking to get his 4th different team to have scored victories with. Front 3 pulling away a little bit here now, though. John Thompson, Frost, and Suleiman trying to pull away because I think did Stingray Robb get by? He did. Stingray Robb able to get by Hunter McElroy. That's for P4.
And Petrov is right there to take part in that battle as well.
Artem Petrov ran last year for RP Motorsports Racing, and RP kind of the collateral damage with the COVID program as they were over here. They had based a program out of the shops in Chicago at Newman Walks Racing. Of course, their team based in Italy, not able to get over here in time. And I'm not exactly sure whether they actually sold their Indy Pro 2000 cars or just leased them out for the year to other teams. That's something I'll get an update on. Nonetheless, a really solid run here right now for our overall year for Artem Petrov, moving over for Juncos Racing. 2 wins, as I said. Look at this battle. Manuel Suleiman trying the outside, coming through turn number 2. Again, can he hold it? Doesn't quite get it, but that's going to get a big run here for Stingray Robb. And Daniel Frost having to go full defense mode on Suleiman. This is going to give Parker Thompson an opportunity to pull away. Indeed he is. He's going to get a really clean run through turn 4. Look at Suleiman on the outside. Manuel has impressed me on the outside. Book it. Suleiman goes to P2.
Nice pass.
I like a good outside pass in turn number 4, John.
Exactly right. It's almost impossible, but it is doable, and we just saw Suleiman do it. Yeah.
Well, if you get around just enough, you've got the line set up for turn 5, right?
Correct.
But how many times do you see a driver push it and just drop that that left rear off, and you're off in the grass.
Yep.
Just sucks you into the grass. Nothing you can do about it. But that was a good pass from Manuel Suleiman. He's definitely a driver who's starting to work his way forward here as well. A couple of good finishes this year. Not overall a 5th at Mid-Ohio, a 6th at Mid-Ohio, 3rd on the oval at Lucas Oil Race. We actually qualified on pole at Lucas Oil.
Pretty good battle.
Trouble for Parker Thompson. No, Parker Thompson has blown the motor.
Incredible.
I heard him come. There was a sound coming on the front straightaway. Parker Thompson has lost the motor on the number 9 machine. Suleiman goes to the lead. Parker Thompson can simply not buy a break.
Good
leading
Lord.
by a half a second. His teammate had just gone to P2, and you heard that thing as he came around the front straightaway. I heard it. I was hoping it was an ATV behind us. It sounded like an ATV, but Parker has pulled off the racetrack, and we have full course yellow, not surprising.
Probably got some fluid on the track.
They're going to have to check through turn number 1 whether or not there was fluid, as you said, on the track. That was a big, smoky blow-up, some kind of an issue for Parker Thompson. Oh, that is absolutely...
That's heartbreaking, man.
Gutting for Parker. So tough. Oh, that is absolutely crazy to see that happen for a guy that needs that race win, needs to move his way forward, and to have the engine expire here on lap number 9, actually lap 11 in total, 14 to go. And man, I feel for Parker Thompson in the cockpit right now, knowing what had happened when you're leading a race like that. Yellow flag being shown there. Aaron Likens, the official starter of the Road to Indy. So Manuel Suleiman goes to P1. Daniel Frost into 2nd. Stingray Robb now 3rd. Hunter McElroy 4th. Artem Petrov in 5th. Colin Kaminsky in 6th spot. Jacob Abel goes to 7th. Moises De Oliveira up to 8th. 9th is Antoine Camo, and 10th is Corey Enders. Bob Kaminsky 11th. Charles Finelli in 12th. DeFrancesco out on lap 4, as we said, and Parker Thompson now out here on lap number 11. That is going to be unbelievably damaging for the championship aspirations of Parker Thompson. He'll have 179 points. As Stingray Rob runs, it's 278, so 99 points back. Still not done. There's still another race here, triple header and a double header. Still 6 races to go. A lot of points on offer for Parker Thompson. And, an issue could easily happen to whoever's leading the points at that time. But, man, that's tough.
And I'm listening to the Corner Worker Network, and they are reporting a line of oil there at turn number 1. So we'll see what race control decides to do to get a little kitty litter on that if necessary. Still got 25 minutes left to go, so hopefully we can get a quick cleanup and get back to green flag racing here.
Here's one thing I do like, John. I do like finding out that people are actually listening in. When I say something on the PA that goes out through Road to Indy TV that I don't know, and then the phone starts blowing up. Because that means people are listening and they're correcting me, which is fantastic. I got messages from both Johnny Baker and Brian Hallahan being told that the RP cars are being leased. The cars both leased to Andretti Autosport, and they'll be coming back to RP next year. So we will see RP Motorsports back next year. Of course, they won the championship last year with Cal Kirkwood. So good to hear that RP Motorsport USA will be back in 2021. And I'm really buoyed by what's going to happen. If we're able to press the reset button and we're able to kind of calm the COVID-19 thing down to the point where we're going to be able to go racing on a more global basis, people being able to travel, the travel restrictions gone. We're going to see new teams, I believe, in USF 2000. We're going to see the return of RP. I would not be surprised to see Andretti, Steinbrenner, and Autosport stay in the program. Why not? You want to develop your own drivers. We're going to see more drivers and teams come into Indy Lights. I think 2021 and 2022 could be unbelievably banner years for this Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires. And I really hope that we get to press that reset button and kind of wake up on January the 1st, 2021 to a new world, right?
Yeah. And Indy Lights, too, we're not running this year. Indy Lights next year is going to be dandy because you got Kyle Kirkwood.
Yep.
And the guy who is dominating Formula Regional right now, Linus Lundqvist, has
yep.
won every race so
Yep.
far. He could run the table. So he's going to be stout.
Unbelievably quick.
Oh,
yeah.
He won British Formula 3
Yep.
2 years ago. So you're going to have...
Now this champion.
Yeah, this guy, whoever this is, probably Stingray right now, but who knows?
Good possibility could be Stingray, but a long way to go.
Lots of racing stuff to go. Let's not get our cart before the horse.
And then look at this particular field. The guy, we know that Daniel Frost, he was going to run with Andretti. He's going to be moving up. You look at some of these other drivers that are going to potentially be moving up. I think Devlin DeFrancesco will move up regardless.
Yep.
We may see Manuel Sullivan make the move here as well. Hunter McElroy is going to want to move. He may stay one more year if he does not win the championship, but he might want to move to Indy Lights as well. There's a lot of talent that's coming into this program and will want to find its way to the top level of this Road to Indy. And I think one of the big things, obviously, the program going on hiatus. People kind of took that a little bit as a negative at one point, except for the fact that Roger Penske's name is now attached to it.
Right.
He and Danny Anderson sitting down when everything was happening. As I said earlier, there were some drivers that were potentially not going to have sponsors come because they couldn't have people trackside. Simple fact that Roger is now saying, hey, listen, here's the things we need to do. We need to make some adjustments here on this program so that we're able to have more cars. It needs to be more connected to IndyCar. Roger's is going to put his stamp on this, and that is going to be that approval, that kind of check mark that I think is going to have a lot of people around the world looking more at Indy Lights.
And looking at this series, there's a driver there in 7th spot that I got to give a shout out. It only his 3rd start in Indy Pro 2000. Jacob Abel up into 7th spot. He's a guy that I know well, and on the Eponymous Abel Racing team, doing a fantastic job. So good job for Jacob. Started back in 12th position, has already made up 5 spots up into 7th. So he's a guy to watch too.
Yeah, we didn't see Jacob earlier in the year. He decided, he was obviously running the other program. He decided he was going to come out and run both ovals. I want to get some oval racing, and he ran both of those. And of course, great to have him here this weekend as well. Jacob, good friends, of course, with Braden Eves. Braden's going to come and hopefully join me here in the booth for the USF 2000 race that will follow. Immediately going on track with USF 2000 on their 2nd race of a triple header. But I'll tell you, a couple drivers definitely with a chance at going after the championship. Devlin DeFrancesco and Parker Thompson not in this race any longer. Devlin dropped off the grid after the issue on turn 4, and Thompson on the sidelines after turn 11. As you mentioned, going to work on making sure turn 1 the way we need it to be, getting some speedy dry down there to clean up that oil spill. As I said, heard that car go by, and I said, that's not good. That is one of those sounds you don't want to hear out of a racing engine. And then, of course, we look up at the screen, all of a sudden the smoke coming through turn number 1, and it indeed was Parker. So, again, pressing the reset button on the race as well. Manuel Suleiman, again, looking for his first win in the Road to Indy. The driver of the number 8 able to go around the outside of Daniel Frost. What a pass that was. Stingray Robb getting another opportunity here on the podium now, provisionally in P3, but of course McElroy been pushing him as well. Artem Petrov up to 5th, Kaminsky 6th, Abel 7th, De Oliveira 8th, Camo 9th, and Corey Enders rounding out the top 10.
Lights are out on the pace car. We're ready for a restart.
So we will have 15 laps in the books. It'll be 10 to go. 10 laps remaining when we go back to racing. As I said, we're going to follow this right up with USF 2000. We're just going to keep bringing you on-track action here today. As
Rob Howden, that's back-to-back jacks, brother.
I'm going to keep going. That's just what's happening right now, isn't it? I'm just going to keep going here.
The Energizer Bunny.
Oh goodness, I'm getting old. I might need that coffee I didn't have to have this morning because it was so exciting, right?
Exactly.
Because again, we do Indy Pro 2000, we do USF 2000. I'll do the victory lane. Boom, we're right on over for the start of qualifying for the NTT IndyCar Series, and that'll be interesting because that session was fun to watch. Some of the drivers just all worked their way to the forefront. The Andretti Autosport drivers were very quick. We saw Will Power being strong. Santino Ferrucci was up in the Fast Five as well. So qualifying for IndyCar should be fun. We're back at it. Manuel Suleiman with the green flag flying here at start-finish. A tremendous start for him as well. Very similar to what we saw to Parker Thompson. Good launch for Suleiman. He'll work his way through 1. Again, 10 laps remaining. 5 of the laps under yellow. An issue for DeFrancesco. Early contact with Ian De Oliveira, we believe, and then the blow-up for Parker Thompson. Manuel Suleiman leads coming through the keyhole, rather, and let's see what Frost has. Remember, Thompson able to pull away because Suleiman went after Frost. Let's see if Stingray Robb can now do the same favor to Suleiman, giving him the opportunity to stretch away a little bit. Stingray with a lot of momentum off those wins. Frost, John, nowhere. Oh,
ooh, little brake lock.
I was going to say that was a little lock up there for Frost, and when you start locking the brakes up and you flat spot those tires, it continues on. Those tires always want to get back to that flat spot. This is enough, I think, to give Suleiman that lead he wants. Just a little bit of a gap and really dropping Frost back into the clutches of Stingray Robb.
Exactly. McElroy and Petrov also running nose to tail just behind them, as Colin Kaminsky continues to impress, up into 6th spot now in the 19 car.
One of the things we don't normally see, and we are really pushing these cars in a big way, John, because normally as you looked at our schedule over the year, we normally have some gap. You know, we did the race here at Mid-Ohio at the end of July, right? We did a double header here, a 2-day race, triple header for both series. Right to Lucas Oil Raceway to put the cars on the oval. The Indy Pros then went right to Worldwide Technology Raceway on the oval. They went directly to IMS. They went directly here. These guys have been back-to-back racing, really stressing these power plants in a big way. That may be kind of what have led to the Parker Thompson deal, is the simple fact that we've been going hard on these engines for the last 5 weeks. Kudos to the guys at Elite Engines, but you know what? When you're pushing like we are week after week after week, it's all we can do. Now, we're off for a month after this, but we did the best we could in getting events on the schedule.
Looks like the best battle may be the one for second. Stingray Robb right on the rear wing of Daniel Frost.
Yeah, let's not count out Hunter McElroy as well, because I have a feeling he's kind of settling in here right now, getting those tires back to the temperature he wants them to be at so he can go to work.
And Frost with that lockup, again, probably may not have had his brake bias cranked to the front when he came into that turn 4 for the first time, coming off that safety car period. So
yeah, indeed, that's a possibility for sure.
That may have been what caught him out. Just a guess.
0.8 of a second the lead now for Manuel Suleiman as he tries to become the 7th different winner. And it's interesting because, you know, in all the talk of 6 winners, I immediately go to multi-time race winners. Hunter McElroy, he'll be the next guy, or Parker Thompson could be the next guy. Manuel Suleiman was always the guy I thought, you know what, especially after qualifying on pole at Lucas Oil Raceway, I'm like, yeah, you know what, he could definitely get the job done. There's a possibility he could do it. I would say odds are McElroy or Thompson go first, but with the issue with Thompson, Suleiman looking to be our 7th different winner of the 2020 season. It's been an unbelievable campaign thus far. And I think one of the things we always look at here, John, as well, is this particular lineup. We talk about the drivers up front. Mexican Suleiman, Singapore for Frost, the American Rob, Australian, New Zealander, American McElroy, the Russian driver Petrov. But look at the teams as well. D-Force Racing, Turn 3 Motorsports, Juncos Racing, Pabst Racing, 4 different teams in the top 4 as well. We have such a spectrum of equality and competition across the entire paddock, which I think is very exciting.
It's probably because Cape doesn't run in.
Cape Motorsports was part of the program for the last number of years, right?
Yeah,
We saw guys run with them in Indy Pro 2000, Oliver Askew being one of those drivers as well. Cape likes what they have in USF 2000. Multi-time champions there. 9 of the last 10 championships for Cape Motorsports.
Yep.
Leading the team championship again for 2020. Not leading the driver championship, but they've got that team championship grabbed a hold of pretty nicely after a 1st and 2nd place finish by D'Orlando and Gold in the opening USF 2000 round.
I was bragging on Jacob Abel. He is all over the back of Colin Kaminsky for that 6th spot.
Jacob Abel in that white, red, and black Abel Motorsports machine. Of course, we saw him last year run the entire Indy Pro 2000 program, putting a lot of pressure here. And indeed, right behind them as well as Corey Enders. So that'll be potentially a good 3-driver battle. That's actually Moises de Oliveira. Pardon me, I believe that's Des de Oliveira. And then further back, you got Camo and Enders and Kaminsky, or Camo and Enders, rather.
So pretty good battles all up and down with about just under 15 minutes remaining.
There's
another
a deep
brake
move.
lockup.
There's a deep move into turn number 4. And that looks to me like that may have been De Oliveira around Camo. Let me reset that. That's Camo in the middle of the 2 D-Force cars. So
right.
De Oliveira and Enders in the D-Force cars at 8th and 10th. Camo right there in 9th. That's the battle we're watching going through 8 and 9. Abel all over the back of Colin Kaminsky. And Kaminsky about a second behind Petrov.
Working their way through turn 11, coming onto the front straightaway to complete race lap number 19.
Always tough to pass here at Mid-Ohio, especially if you're trying to get close. But Manuel Suleiman putting the lap times down right now. He and Frost, 1:17.4s, 0.8 of a second. The gap between 1st and 2nd and Frost, only 0.03 of a second quicker the last lap. So virtually identical laps with the leaders, 19 laps down, 6 laps remaining here at Indy Pro 2000. Manuel Suleiman trying to get his first win of the season. I'm looking at teams as well. So we have Turn 3 Motorsports. They've got a race win. Juncos Racing has won. Legacy winning the race with Cody Swanson at the Freedom 90 as well. Juncos with a bunch of wins, as we said. Pabst Racing looking for the win. They'll be the next team, I think, to win if D-Force is able to get it done here. But again, another lockup. Whoa, that's Camo off.
Into the grass. He caught it.
Solid save.
Yeah, no doubt.
But a couple of brake locks up there. We talked about that. That's when you drop that wheel off the outside of turn number 4, and it kind of drops the car off a bit. It bottoms out a little bit. I can't think that would be a good feeling.
And I'm getting word on the Corner Network. They're asking the workers to give a good ear to Moises de Oliveira's car. They say the engine is not sounding good in that machine.
I'll do the same here as well on the front straightaway for de Oliveira as he's leading that group. Decent exhaust note. I don't know that I heard anything too crazy there, but again, someone listening in for sure. Again, with Camo falling out there in turn number 4, and with the save, he falls back to 10th. That leaves de Oliveira and Enders to run together in 8th and 9th. Their teammate Manuel Suleiman up front in that number 8, leading the way by 7/10 now as Frost itching his way back closer, 1/10 of a second.
Closest battle on the racetrack is the one between Kaminsky and Abel for 6th and 7th, and Jacob Abel back just a little bit from where he was earlier, but still within half a second, about 4/10 separate those two. Everybody else kind of stretching out just a bit. Enders and de Oliveira having a good battle. If de Oliveira's got an engine going sour, that could cost him some time.
Interesting thing, of course, is Stingray Robb, P3, Daniel Frost, and Manuel Suleiman looking to try to inch back some points, but not a lot. Stingray doing exactly what you're supposed to do when you're the point leader coming in. Get the best you can. Make sure your guys primarily close to you or further back. Stingray Robb, as they run on the racetrack, would have 278 points. Devlin DiFrancesco, who was closer, was second, 247. So that would be a 31-point lead now. It was 16. Artem Petrov, who's behind him now, would be
McElroy just caught Stingray Robb.
I was going to say, what happened there?
I was pointing it out on the screen. They were side by side at start-finish.
I don't know what these drivers do. Listen, I'm trying to talk about points right now. Can you just hold your position? Listen, when I get back to talking about the race, you can go to work. There you go. Perfect example. Hunter McElroy now closing, getting through. That brings him back. So he's only 69 points back now for Hunter McElroy. Coming in, he was 72. Yeah. It's not a big change, but you'll take every point you can get. Hunter McElroy up in now to P3. Now, hold on. We got to start watching lap times. He's been able to get by. He's back by 2.6 seconds. Only 4 laps to go. So we got to think the front two drivers are going to fight this out amongst themselves. But Stingray Robb and Artem Petrov, the two teammates, are together. You know, Artem would like to find a way by as well. He was third coming in, 49 points back. He does not want to drop any to his teammates. So, yeah, he'll be pushing hard. He's 51 points back now where he runs on the racetrack.
Stingray Robb with 275 points as they run. Second spot would still be DeFrancesco with his 247, but Daniel Frost making up some good ground up to 226. That would unofficially put him in third spot. That's up a spot from where he is right now.
I think one of the great things about what Stingray Robb is showing right now is his perseverance. Coming out of karting, instead of moving into the USF 2000 program, he elected to go into the final year of the old Pro Formula Mazda car in 2016, then moved, or rather 2017. Then when the new PM18 came out, he jumped into that program, moved to Juncos in 2019, and really it was his 49th start at this level of the program when he got his first win. And then you move a couple of races, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54. He ends up with wins. Here he is in his 55th starts and runs now P4. The perseverance of not giving up, keep focusing, getting comfortable with your team and winning some races right now. If indeed he wins the championship, is able to go to Indy Lights, what a display that will be of a driver really sticking with the program.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a 1.08 second lead for Suleiman. He actually stretched out about 0.4 of a second on that last lap. Good lap there for Suleiman. Fast lap we've seen so far is indeed that 1:17.252, so that's a bonus point as well. So Suleiman grabbing a hold of the bonus point at 181 points. Still not out of the championship by any means himself either. 94 points back as they run on the racetrack. Hunter McElroy, though, moving by. Pretty much the same lap time as Daniel Frost, so McElroy going to do what he can to see if he can't keep those lap times down to be able to pull away from Robb and grab that third spot. It's Suleiman, Frost, and McElroy, the current provisional podium as they run 1, 2, 3 with just a couple laps to go. We'll see the white flag next time by. You see our clock there, 8 minutes and 20 seconds left. We had a 45-minute window, but even with the 2 yellow flags, we're very likely going to get we'll get that done. Even if we went yellow right now, the race would essentially be all done. So we've got just a couple laps remaining, and I think the only battle potentially on the racetrack would be, well, to be honest, Camo's caught back up to Enders and De La Vera, so 8th, 9th, and 10th still kind of running together. And Jacob Abel not that far behind Colin Kaminsky either. He was quicker. No, I actually lost a couple tenths last time. But here's this battle here. Indeed, that is 8th, 9th, and 10th. Camo has been able to catch back up to both those drivers.
Yeah, after that off there at the exit of turn 4, he's recovered nicely and now putting a challenge on Enders and De La Vera.
Into Thunder Valley for those 3 drivers. 8th,
white
9th,
flags
and 10th.
out.
Indeed, that's it. One more lap for Manuel Suleiman. He would be our 7th different winner in the 2020 season here in the Indy Pro 2000 Championship presented by Cooper Tires. Of course, you see the Cooper banners all over the racetrack here, the official tire of the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Through turn number 2. One last time for Manuel Suleiman, 0.6 of a second as Frost has closed up a little bit here on the penultimate lap. Lots of gap for McElroy, P3. Frost is coming. Does Daniel Frost have anything on the final circuit to throw it at Manuel Suleiman? Frost is a multi-time winner. 2 victories last year for Exclusive Autosport and Indy Pro. 1 as well this year at Road America. He's got the trifecta as well. Lucas Oil Raceway, Toronto, and Road America. Suleiman looking to try to get that first win, and man, he is, I think, trying to be a little bit safe. Frost are within about 4 car lengths on the final circuit. Got to get it straight coming down into Thunder Valley. From there, you're pretty close. Turn 11 always tough, as is the carousel. Frost putting a lot of pressure here on Manuel Suleiman, who wants this race win. Into the carousel cleanly. Just got to get out of the final couple of corners. And indeed, our 7th different winner of the 2020 season. Indy Pro Race 1 goes to Manuel Suleiman in D-Force Racing. Big victory for D-Force as well. McElroy getting fast lap coming across the line. 117.005. That's a bonus point for McElroy. So move him to just 68 points back. Hunter McElroy starting to chip away, working his way back forward. But Manuel Suleiman with a really solid victory. I'm happy for Manuel. 0.4 of a second ahead of Daniel Frost. D-Force with a couple of podiums last week with Kiko Porto as well in USF 2000.
De Oliveira lost 2 spots on that last lap.
Yeah, that battle between Enders
he was
and
up in
Camo.
8th, yeah. So Enders coming home in 8th spot.
Let's work our way through the 11 drivers who came through the entire 25-lap race. Manuel Suleiman, as we said, with the win. Daniel Frost second. He picks up some points as well. He is now 50 back, came in 57 back. So Frost closes up on Stingray Robb, who finishes 4th behind McElroy. 275 points provisionally, the lead. Stingray Robb as your leader, 275. Artem Petrov ends up P5. Colin Kaminsky in 6th. Jacob Abel 7th. Corey Enders and Antoine Camo getting by Moises De Oliveira on the final circuit to go 8th, 9th, and 10th, respectively. And Bob Kaminsky getting it home in the 11th position. Charles Finelli, Parker Thompson, and Devlin DeFrancesco not able to get to the end of this one. I'll be staying in the booth here between now because we're, I think, getting ready to go very quickly here with USF 2000. I want to say we're going to start driver introductions in about 8 minutes' time. Be able to get that one done. So we will have the podium presentation. Tony Laporta will handle that over at the Cooper Tire stage. We'll do all of our podiums for this Road to Indy, the Cooper Tire stage, right ahead of the bridge that goes over turn number 1. So you're always welcome to join us there. Drivers will drive their cars all the way back. Well, they're supposed to be able to drive them back, but I have a feeling that the drivers in USF 2000, not going to be a lot of room for them to get through here now. It looks to me like one of the drivers not able to get around the corner as well. Again, we're doing whatever we can to stay away from the IndyCar fenced-in area.
Yep.
IndyCar has their own bubble here at the racetrack that we're not. Normally, we would drive through and be actually in the IndyCar paddock. Instead, we're in the top paddock, so we're going to go back through the mock grid to work our way back to the Road to Indy paddock on the top part of the facility here. And again, those drivers will head back there. Leaders will get there. The top 3 will get picked up and taken over to the Cooper Tire stage. But I love it. 3 different teams as well. D-Force, Turn 3 Motorsports, and Pabst Racing on the podium. But big congratulations, Sean, to Manuel Suleiman, our 7th different winner of the 2020 season.
That is just fantastic to see. It's, on one hand, I love to see a driver really, get out in front and dominate a season, as we've seen with so many drivers in the past. But it's also great to see this parity where nobody's really taken command of the situation. And it's great to see this is going to go right down to the wire.
Yeah, I think it speaks volumes for the talent that we've been able to develop and work up here into this level, this Indy Pro 2000 category. So many of these drivers then getting trained to move to Indy Lights. Little break in the action, folks. We will bring you the live coverage, at least the video footage of our podium presentation when we get that thing underway. Otherwise, we'll take a quick break in the action, and we'll be back with the podium for Indy Pro 2000.
2 years on the road to Indy and a victory here in the Surgere Indy Pro 2000 Grand Prix at Mid-Ohio. Manuel, I mean, obviously you feel great, but how good does it feel?
It feels amazing. The team really deserves this. They work really hard every time, and we had the pace since the start of the weekend. So we just needed to finish it off, and unfortunately, the first qualifying, we were also attempting to get the pole position, and we finished 3rd by a red flag. But today's race was just 3rd place start, so we ended up with a win. So we're really happy, and obviously special for me, and special because it's also the first win for D-Force. So it's also for me. That's very amazing.
Manuel Suleiman, congratulations, brother. Your first win here on the road to Indy.
Thank you very much.